Okay, it is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting of the Huntington Township Board of Supervisors to order. Thank you. Any public comment on the agenda items? Okay, seeing none. First is the Secretary Treasurer report to approve the September 12th Board of Supervisors minutes. Any comments or questions? None. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I so moved.
I'll second
It's
it.
been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill list, please. Any questions on the bill list?
It's not up there.
Yeah.
It's coming, it's coming.
Thank you.
There it is.
Pat, I can't. How much income did we take?
Okay, that's on the
That's what-
finance report.
That's
It's
on the
next,
next, that's on the next document.
and it was low this time.
The fire companies you paid the,
Yes, the three fire companies there, that's the foreign fire insurance,
okay,
volunteer fire relief.
right,
So that much money come in, it was 15,800 and some,
okay.
and going right back out.
Any questions on the bill list?
No,
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the bill list. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the financial report. Light up, Gus.
There it is.
Okay, so there in the general fund, your receipts were $39,503.06. And like Betsy said, it was only like $17,000 came in this time for the earned income tax. And the other big part there was the $15,000 that went back out to the fire companies. Okay, and then the expenditures were $49,567.63, letting a balance in the general fund of $912,476.67. In the ARP, the interest received was $17.75. There were no bills. The balance there is $216,597.82. In the state fund or liquid fuels, the interest received was $10.93. The expenditures were $725.88, letting a balance in there of $132,621.01. So the balance of all the accounts as of today is $1,261,695.50.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, I have a comment about the screen. From where I'm sitting, I can't read the screen because Gus and the engineer's head are in the way. So that's just a comment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was brought up last month also.
Would you like a hard copy?
Yes, I would.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on that?
No.
Okay, miscellaneous items, Pat?
Okay, well, we do have a few this time. The Adams County Ag Land Preservation Board is having round 16 in their possible township participation. So that is for anybody to consider, to think about. Medicine take back at the school is October 26th, and PennDOT has reminded us that they're going to be on Wireman's Mill Road from October, I believe 17th or till December, from October, middle of October to middle of December, replacing a culvert there.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you. Roadmaster's report. Chuck?
We've been doing we're finished up on side gutter cleaning for now, till probably next spring. We serviced and maintaining trucks, getting them ready for winter season. And we're gonna be doing our last round of mowing. We're gonna start that this coming week. And then I did a culvert replacement on my tree rig. That's all I had.
Any questions for the Roadmaster? Thank you. Supervisor's report.
Yeah, I have a little, I won't say, yes, an issue. I do not do social media, and for the first time, my grandchildren pulled up social media, and I watched Huntington Township watch. And I am totally dumbfounded at how much it is altered. It is, the images, some of them have been,
Excuse me, I want to caution you, okay, all right,
excuse me, I have the floor.
defamation.
And they are altered in many ways. They are edited, and there's a lot of misinformation on them. And now I understand why we got many, many angry phone calls, including death threats, which have been reported to the state police. When I watched this, I was astounded. There's images from prior meetings where Pat was at one meeting wearing 3 different tops on Huntington Township shorts. I am shown stuttering, and it's almost like I've never stuttered before. In my 70 years, it looks like I'm almost having seizures. Obviously, it was altered. There are many incidences where it was altered, there's misinformation and downright lies. And as a result, I am making a motion.
No, it's not on the agenda, so
Well,
Could you speak up? I didn't hear that, please.
I said, go ahead.
it's okay. I will then, if it doesn't have to be in the form of a motion, that's fine. We need to contact a professional who can install 2 cameras in this room that can record the entire meeting from the time it is started till the time of adjournment, unedited, altered in any way, linked to the computer so it can be stored and it can be an official record of this meeting. I would also like it to be live streamed so anyone can watch it at any time and see what this true business meeting is like, not after it has been altered, edited, and misinformation on it. Is that okay?
Yeah. I think we should explore getting equipment so we can do what you suggested, live streaming and record the meetings.
And that will include all the audience interaction as well.
Yeah, we have to make sure we comply with what we can do, but yes.
Okay.
So we will not take any action on that, but we will explore the options before we take official action on purchasing any equipment to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Paul, do you have anything, Supervisor?
No, I have nothing.
So I do. At last meeting, we had a citizen have some concerns about some odors and gases. He mentions several agencies, NRCS, Conservation District, DEP. I contacted all those organizations to see if there's anything they need from the township perspective, and they did not. They had everything they needed, and there's nothing they need from us on that situation. Okay. Go Gus, zoning.
Okay. Give me a minute here. It's been a busy month. And go up here to. First item is a waiver to Neil Hinkle at 6487 Old Harrisburg Road. He's putting in a new front door and a patio door to his home. The next one is an occupancy permit to Michael Max at 6684 Old Harrisburg Road for an in-ground pool, patio, and fence. Then there's a building permit to Jason Hillbot at 50 Wendy Drive. He's installing a roof over his existing deck. And he also got a waiver for replacing the roof on the house. And he issued a building permit to Fred McCausland at 66 White Church, 6600 White Church Road. He's putting an addition 18 by 24 foot on his existing home. I issued a building permit to Mickey Hostetter at 12 Myerstown Road for a 16 by 30 foot addition to an existing garage. And then we have a waiver to Steve Williams at 1440 Bermudian, Upper Bermudian Road. He's re-siding a shed with vinyl siding. The shed's 18 by 20 feet. I issued an occupancy permit to Bob and Barbara Evans, 210 Ficus School Road. They installed a generator with an automatic transfer switch, and the inspection was done and it was approved. And at 10-5, I issued a building permit to Clarence Shiflett at 1486 Gun Club Road to build a deck. It's an L-shaped deck, that's why the numbers are that way, for his home on Gun Club Road. And that's it for that, the permits. VPI had a final inspection for their office building. There were several items that were not finished and didn't pass, including they have to finish a railing. The basement wall has a serious crack in it that requires an engineer's statement on whether it's all right. The blacktop needs to be recovered, and then there's parking spaces that need marked for handicap parking. And there's an addition of a handicap ramp at the back of the building, so handicap access is to the building in the rear, and so that requires another handicap spot marked as such in the back. At this point, the interior of the building is basically ready for an occupancy permit. However, because of the final inspection's deficiency, any occupancy permit will be contingent and conditional upon completing these items. And when I receive that final inspection report listing those deficiencies, I will issue a temporary occupancy permit for that structure. The Adams County Tax Collection Committee had a Zoom meeting. I participated. The big news is that the EIT, the Earned Income Tax collections, are up approximately by 10%. Now, of course, that can change up and down. The land development plan for the JVI is with the Planning Commission. It was tabled at the last meeting. It still needs an NPDS permit and a highway occupancy permit from PennDOT. So we'll be looking at that at this next Planning Commission meeting. Pam was back in, and they're making another offer on the Miller Sports Complex. And so they want to pursue a variance that they started last time and was dropped. And that's with the zoning hearing board. And I need to set up a hearing there.
Okay.
That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Scott, engineers report. Report up to us.
There it is.
Greenbrier Road, all required project documents have been received by the contractor. I've contacted the Conservation District to see when we can have our pre-construction meeting. The culvert structure was ordered 5 weeks ago, and I talked to the manufacturer this afternoon after I already submitted my report. The tentative delivery date is November 6th.
Okay.
So that works out fine for our schedule. Myerstown Road, design's begun. I need direction from the township whether or not we'll proceed in anticipation of applying for a dirt and gravel road funding or not. If we do apply for a dirt and gravel road, please keep in mind that it adds about a year and about 50% to the cost. Rolling Road.
What is it? When he's done.
Rolling Road, culvert. I have all the documents and the permit application signatures. I got that tonight, and I'll submit for that permit tomorrow. Chuck let me know that there was a little bit of damage to the road on the uphill side, but it's nothing that's dangerous to the traveling public there.
Okay.
Update on the Saldo revisions. I'm still working with Andrew on the next session. I've got a meeting with him Monday after next before the planning commission meeting. And just one plan is under review, JVI. Board actions required by November 6th, but we did receive a letter from their engineer requesting a review time extension. And that's to be acted on by the board tonight.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay. On the Myerstown Road culvert, I mean, my understanding is that culvert's in pretty bad shape, and waiting a year is probably not a good decision. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I'll make a motion, we do not apply for the stone and gravel, the low volume application for that project. So we can get it expedited. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good direction there. And then we'll have to accept the extension from JVI tonight, correct?
I'll make a motion to accept their extension.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Did I hear him say that if you use the dirt and gravel road funds, that it increases the project 50%?
That's what I just heard too.
Yeah, this past Greenbrier Road culvert, by applying for PA dirt and gravel road funds, it increased our time frame by a year and increased the cost by about 50%.
Okay. So we already knew that, that's why we never did this, but y'all, for some reason, went ahead against my wishes when I was on the board. You sent the Roadmaster out to get approval and qualifications to do all this. Greenbrier Road project is sitting over there just about washed out. It's been, what, 3 years we've been playing this game? And you just now realize you made a mistake. I think you all need to maybe go to some classes or some training, like I did often, so that we know these things and what we're getting into. I mean, why you would want to get into something that's going to increase the cost 50% and waste time, I have no idea why you would do that. I think it's a bad decision.
Yeah, please.
Can I clarify?
Yes, please do.
Just because the total project cost was increased by 50% doesn't mean that the township cost increased by that much.
Exactly.
Dirt and gravel road funding covered about 80% of the total cost.
Okay, but you only got 100 and some thousand, if I recall. And how much is the project going to cost you?
We got 244,000. We got half of it so far.
So that's what you
And
get
towards
for the
Greenbrier.
244,000, and the low bid price was $266,000.
Okay, so how's that increasing the price 50%?
Over what the project would have been without the dirt and gravel road funding parameters. There's different design criteria that was required to apply for dirt and gravel road funding.
Okay, so
That's
that's
what
something
increases
you're
the
planning on
cost.
doing in the future then, or are you going to scrap this idea?
I don't think we can answer that question until we see what our needs are and what the program says. I mean, just because you apply doesn't mean you have to accept the grant either.
Right.
So I don't know that we can answer that question because until we have another situation.
Well,
But what I'm hearing is, at the end of the day, the township was better off, even though it took it delayed the project, obviously, but our net
Right.
expenses are less than they would have
Are
been.
much lower, correct.
Okay, that's the question. Okay.
So it was cheaper?
No,
The township's
The
out.
township's out of pocket's what matters.
what's
Was
what
it
you said.
The
cheaper?
construction is about 20 grand,
Okay. And if
plus
we would've-
engineering. Without the dirt and gravel road
Yeah.
funding, the township would have had to pay about all $150,000 to $160,000 of it.
Okay, so it is a savings then.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, it's not costing 50% more to the township.
I didn't say that. I said compared
That's
to
the way it
original-
sounded, that's why the question was brought
Well,
up.
that's
Okay.
not what I
Okay.
said.
Moving
Excuse
on.
me?
Yes.
I just want to state what I said last month was that delay created that hazardous washout and the road buckling. And someone could have been killed or injured because of that delay of a year.
The
That's all I have to
delay-
say.
The delay didn't cause the road to wash out. The storm caused the road to wash out.
No, that
Your
was-
delay in action.
Okay, we've
There was
talked
no
about this
delay in my
enough.
inaction. I
We're
followed-
moving
Because you
on.
won't take responsibility for what could have been a serious issue. Someone could have been killed or injured.
Ma'am,
And you're not taking any responsibility for that delay. So that's all I have to say. You don't have to answer anything.
Well, I'd like to answer you because I was a supervisor.
Your explanations are ridiculous, sir. You're responsible. You're the only one responsible here for the roads. That's it.
I was not a supervisor until January of this year. That culvert did not fail. I mean, it's been an ongoing problem. okay?
Correct.
There is, right now in North Carolina, there's hundreds of miles of roads that are washed out.
Exactly.
Are we going to say those people are negligent too because of a storm? I mean, that's not.
We did not have a hurricane.
I disagree.
No,
Look, I was
excuse-
on the board.
Okay.
Dave, I was on the board, and you can check the records. I warned the township of that possibility right there. If y'all chose to
Yeah.
go with your dirt and gravel roads and prolong this project, it would have been done before that storm came, and that's the
Well-
point that's trying to be made.
It's on huntingtonwatch.com. Yeah, unedited.
Thank you. Okay, fire company reports. Do we have anybody from the fire companies here? Yes, sir. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
We handed in, you handed in, right?
You have a report copy.
I emailed them.
You have the,
You have it.
you have the report back that
You have
we
it.
sent
I'll
you?
read it.
Yes,
I'll read it if you have the copy. You know,
I don't have it out here, it's on my
Okay.
desk.
I think he has it here. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll read it off.
What fire companies?
York Springs.
York Springs. So for the month of September, we had a total of 9 calls. 6 in our first due area, 3 in mutual aid. Within Huntington Township, 3 of those calls, 3 of the 9 were in Huntington Township.
Okay.
We had an average of 36 personnel, a total man hours of 47.45. So we average out amongst the calls and figure out our man hours, what type people are wasting, not wasting.
Understood.
Utilizing.
Yes, there you go. And then for the fire police, they had 9 calls also, 3 of them in Huntington again. We had 21 personnel at an average of 30.44 hours.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that for the month?
That's for the month of September only.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other fire companies present?
And which fire company?
York Springs.
Okay.
Okay, the REMA report.
Nareem, I met this last month, and the main thing that we discussed was the fact that 6 of the 7 townships voted to go in on the truck. York Springs had not yet voted, but they were anticipating also going in. So if they do it, it'll be unanimous.
Thank you. Old business review and approve Greenbrier Road. I think we've talked about that. Okay, discuss, improve the winter maintenance agreement with PennDOT for portions of Slade, Town. I think we were discussing that. We don't have an answer as far as the liability.
We do.
Okay,
Adams County, who does our insurance,
okay,
our writer and her underwriters said that this is fine, that it does not make any more liability. You're traveling those roads, you are covered. If anything happens, that it is covered through this. And the one thing she wants to know is, are we compensated? How are we compensated? Do they give you a flat?
it's a yearly fee, it's a yearly agreement.
Okay, so it's not hours, tons of anti-skid or vehicles, and it's
Yeah,
flat.
flat rate.
Okay, is it by the
With the
mile or?
exception of an emergency, snow emergency or a severe winter, then they will adjust.
Okay, we got that to sign then.
Well, we didn't approve that yet.
Oh,
So did you check, you were supposed to check the liability?
That's what she just said. That's what she just said.
No.
No additional liability,
Okay, so then what's the reason? Why would we be doing this to start with?
because they're gonna compensate us to do that, and we're already crossing the roads.
You're only crossing one section of all those roads.
You know, guys, we can either vote on that tonight, or we can see how this winter is, and then log the hours and times it would have cost us, and then make a decision prior to next year. I don't care either way. You guys have a feeling one way or the other?
I'm telling you, I did this job for 16 years. It's a bad decision.
Okay. I appreciate your comment.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Right now, anyway.
We don't know that.
Is the contract available today?
It's probably too late at this point.
October 15th,
Yeah, it's past this date.
just the
no, today's
last.
Today's
So, we're our past, well, I mean, for us to file and, to submit the paperwork and for PennDOT to approve it and send it to Harrisburg, and we're past our date, so.
It's
For this year, it's a moot point then. Okay. But we have the answers as far as liability. I think we should, look at our expenses this year, see what it cost us. Yeah. Every year's different, I understand that, but then we'll make a decision. Okay? Approve attendance at the ACATO Fall Conference, which is November 20th, I believe. I'm not available to go. If you guys Yes, sir.
We need to approve the participants
Okay,
because
Gus wants to go, I think. I'll make a motion, we approve any township employee that wants to go to the conference.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, discuss the budget items. The budget is due November the 10th. Give a draft. If there's anything we need to look for next year, let's start looking at those items, try to plan any projects we may need. You know, Pat, if you will give us we can kind of look at the numbers from last year in the budget and
yeah, well, you can look at your financial report
and see where we're at.
know what you have, and
Yep.
next month I will show you what you'll be getting.
Okay. Thank you. Subdivisions, Landaville, I think we took care of them already.
Yeah.
Okay. Upcoming meetings, the Planning Commission meets here on October 28th at 7. Our next meeting is Thursday, November 14th at 7 p.m. Okay, public comment.
Is this general public comment?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead. All right. Hey, is it right behind Wayne good? I don't want to block anyone's path.
Before you get started, sir.
Yes?
You're Levi Trumbull, correct?
I am Levi Trumbull. Yes, sir.
And you're from Frederick County?
I am from Frederick County, Maryland.
Which means you are a non-resident and a non-taxpayer?
Absolutely. That is
Okay.
exactly what that means, but I do pay federal taxes. Marie, do you want to?
Let me finish there.
Okay.
We do have a public participation policy in our township
Okay.
that is on our website.
Okay.
It's been here for over 10 years.
Mhm.
And it states in the public, in this, that we can not allow non-taxpayers or non-residents if we choose to. And it's been upheld in court when I've talked to our solicitor to verify that. But if you would like to speak, I'm going to let you know, go ahead. I've read your comments on the internet, calling us corrupt, so I'm sure you're going to say more of the same, which is fine. But
did I say that?
Your headline says corrupt township, yes.
Well, okay, well that would be an opinion, so that's number one. And anybody who tries to silence the First Amendment freedom of speech, I would say that that's pretty corrupt. And I think most people who respected the Constitution would absolutely come to that same finding. So okay. I think your statements are a little bit preliminary, and I just want to state for the record that there's a lot of other things that I would rather come here tonight and talk about. Maybe your budget, maybe some infrastructure, the roads I'm hearing is a big issue here. But unfortunately, it's the same old issue. And because of Huntington Township Watch, people like myself and people from outside this community get to see what is going on right here inside this building. So the gentleman to the far end there, earlier you said that there was some altered clips. Now I want to set the record straight. I am not here for every meeting. I don't know what happens here every meeting. I cannot tell you what was altered or edited. I don't know. But all I'll say is that I've never known Huntington Township Watch to alter clips. When I go to their YouTube page, because I do subscribe to them, and what I see is long format videos of these meetings. And I want to be clear, I condemn any threats you said earlier that you've received, or this township has received.
The township did.
The township received some threat. I condemn that totally. That's not okay. And we want to talk about the First Amendment, Mr. Boyer. That is not protected speech. Death threats, things of that nature, not okay. I don't know who's doing that, but they're not doing that on the behest of me or anybody else that I know. So I condemn that totally. But I want to give a background here as to why people feel very strongly about the issue. So you came out with a resolution, and the resolution was totally out of line. It was in complete opposition to the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Totally out of line. You had to essentially kill half of the bill, and then you put forth this amended resolution that is still very gray. And I want to talk about reasonableness and obstruction. The cameras that are right here are reasonable. The camera that sits in front of that table right there is also reasonable, and it's not facing you guys, it's facing the audience this way. And the reason that that microphone is there is because you guys don't speak loud enough for people in the back to hear you. The people who watch the videos online later can get a very clear understanding of what's being said here because of that microphone. So it's very important. Now Mr. Wayne here, he's moved it, he's backed off. He can do whatever he wants to do. But from a legal standpoint, it is reasonable to put that camera there. Keywords, I should say, are obstruction and reasonable. It is reasonable to put that camera there. It is reasonable to put this camera here because they are not obstructing anything. You can walk through. I was here the one day with 50, 60 people or some odd people in this building, and people walk back and forth just fine with that camera right there by that table. And so it's not obstructing, and it is reasonable, and a court is definitely going to find that. Huntington Township Watch, great YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of people in here follow it, know exactly what I'm talking about. They're doing a great service for this community, no question about that. And I want to talk a little bit about the relationship between media and government. These are journalists right here. Journalists. You guys are the government. You're public figures. You're elected to do what you do. That's all well and fine. What I see a lot of is a lot of friction between media and government. And that's okay, but where it crosses the line is when you start to get into this area of trying to control how the media conducts their business. If Huntington Township told you guys how to, run your meeting tonight, you'd say you're out of line. And they would be out of line if they tried to do that. You're trying to do vice versa and tell the media how to be media. You can't do it, my friend. So, I don't know anything about litigation. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there will be litigation.
3 minutes, right?
It's
3 minutes.
It's actually the policy says 5 for this section, but you have 1 minute left.
3 minutes? Well, first of all, there's no timer. Can we get a timer in here?
Yeah, I have a timer.
You started it?
Yeah, I started it.
Okay, well, you should. Well, I didn't know that. You see, somebody should have told me you had 5 minutes.
You ought to read the policy, sir.
Hold a minute. You ought to read the Constitution. Is that in here? Where is that in here? I don't see. Point that out to me, someone.
Right here.
Public. I just see public comment. I must have a different one than you. It just says public
You're not
comment.
looking at the policy, sir.
As a reminder,
No,
public
just say
comment
5
limited to
minutes.
3 minutes per person.
You cost this town
Is that all?
Letters.
and taxpayers enough. Enough's enough.
Okay, well, I'll just say, I think we need to bring the temperature down in Huntington Township, all right? That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. What these guys are doing is totally legal with recording, whether they put a camera here, whether they put a camera there. It's a public building, and it's public photography. And for the record, I still don't see on this form where it says 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it says. Thank you, guys. What's that?
It's on the front page, right there in bold letters,
Okay.
reminder.
Okay, Jeff.
That's for, but that, this is,
says 3
we're not on
minutes.
that. We're on this public
It
comment.
says 3
Sir,
minutes.
sir.
He said
Public
that,
comment.
he said that
We're on
wasn't even
here.
the policy that they were following. He said 5
You know what, I
minutes.
pay taxes here, if I want to bitch and complain about somebody taking up my time,
Right.
then I will.
Okay, gentlemen, please. Okay,
All right, thank you.
Let's calm down.
I pay taxes too, trust me. I'll bring my taxes there. I pay a lot of taxes, just for the record.
Go back to Frederick then.
I will go back to Frederick. Right after tonight, I'm going back to Frederick. To the city of Frederick.
Okay, again.
Hey, they're doing a good thing. I don't know what the problem
What do you think's
is.
that?
Well, the good thing is they're recording these meetings for the people who aren't attending. It's a good thing.
Okay, we're done.
You're welcome. Hey, sir, it can get a lot worse. Trust me when I tell you.
Let's.
Okay, I have a
Don't threaten.
Quick question from the press, if you don't mind.
Scott Pitzer.
Oh, this is the
Yeah,
official
Scott,
press.
for time.
The official press.
I beg your pardon?
You're the official press?
Yes. I have a
Okay,
question,
cool.
please. So, a year and a half ago, you folks were going to redo your website and do
Yes.
the computer system. Is that website up and running, and is that the website you're going to have, you're exploring having live streams?
Yes, we had, it was supposed to be up today. It'll be up October the 15th is what our provider has told us, talking to our staff today. So the goal is to have it there. As Mr. King said, we would like to have the equipment that can do a quality, so people can.
We'd like it professionally installed.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're gonna have to get, we don't know the cost, so we'll get the cost and we'll make a decision if that's something we wanna do.
We need an official record.
Understood. So you're talking about your brand new website that you signed up to get revamped. You're not talking about the existing county government control website?
So, yes, it'll be something that we can put stuff on ourselves, YouTube links or whatever we want to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Betsy Howard,
Yes.
Rolling Road.
Yes.
This issue comes up every year,
Okay.
flies.
Okay.
I can't open my screen door without 20 flies on it, and I have to swish the flies away to get into the house,
Okay.
but they still get in.
Okay.
It's just very annoying.
Uh,
I just want to go on the record.
there are a lot of flies. I mean, after the rain, I had a lot of flies at my house, for whatever reason.
It's called change of season.
Yeah. Yeah. Marie, would you like to speak?
Yes, first of all, this township received federal money, and that's why this man is allowed to speak here. You received federal ARP money. So I want to talk about the right to know requests. Previously at these meetings, the right to know requests were always stated on the agenda, and it was actually announced at the meetings. So are we to believe that all the right to know requests were received by the township were listed on the agenda? Could you confirm that? That all, when they were listed on the agenda, all right to know requests that were received were on there? Okay. So if I were to submit a right to know request for all this information, are there any exceptions under the open records statute for the township to withhold this information or any of the records? Can someone answer that? Are there any exceptions?
I'm not even sure what you're asking. Could you submit that in writing, please?
If I submit a right to know request, is there any reason, are there any exceptions under the open records statute for the township to withhold any records from my request? Do you understand that or no?
What records related to the right to know request?
Yes, yeah. If I submit an open records request.
What are you asking for specifically?
No, this is a general question. Are there any exceptions under the statute for exceptions that if I requested records, any records?
There are exceptions for certain records. And again, I'll ask you to please put it in writing, send it to the township, and I'll look at it. There are a list of very many exceptions to the right to know.
Because it's come to my attention that in August, Cody Lear submitted a right to know request. Why didn't I receive that request when I had submitted 2 requests?
Because on August 8th, when we filled that right to know request out, it was not finished. And you asked in yours from August the 9th to the 15th. In that amount of time, I finished his. If you want it, you can have it.
Well, I had submitted an email on August 9th for the period from June of 2024 through August 9th. My second email request was for the period of August 9th through September 13th. So if you didn't, when was his request submitted?
You know, this really isn't a public comment. This is kind of a question.
Well, it's a question because
So, I mean,
I didn't receive a record that I had requested, and I want to find out why that is.
Okay.
Okay, I think I should be able to modify what I sent you back because at the time, we were not just exactly sure what we were, when Cody came in to fill out the right to know, we weren't exactly sure what was going to be filled out. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to answer it or if I was going to have to take an extension or maybe just the question of what he wanted was just a simple answer. It just...
So why wasn't it included in my second request?
I believe there's an appeal process in the right to know law. If you believe you weren't given something that you were entitled to, you can file an appeal.
Well, the appeal process is over now because I didn't find out about this until recently. So I wanted to find out why it was withheld for my original request. So
again,
that's
I'll
fine.
repeat, submit it in writing,
dates and
we can provide a response.
Do you want to know what he asked?
She can write it. She can submit it in writing. That's fine. Sir?
James Barnes, 1489 Cranberry Road.
Okay.
Flies.
Okay?
You just said it's the time of year. No, it's not the time of year. It's all the time at my house. I want to show you an example. I took the time today to do this. This is from last Saturday, in my garage.
Oh my God.
You can only imagine what my back porch looks like. Something needs to be done. I can go to Jeff King's farm, pull along the side of the road and put the windows down. There ain't a goddamn fly gonna bother me. You go to my house, you can't stand it. You're swatting all the time. Something needs to be done. Ever since that chicken farm went in, we have this issue. I've called Gus. I'm tired of calling Gus. I'm tired of playing games. Apparently, don't they have a dead chicken thing down there where they throw them into a pit?
Yeah.
If I recall,
I'm not aware.
I think that's what it was back when we did the chicken farm thing. The chickens that die, they threw into a pit. And then they're supposed to throw chemicals on them. It's not happening. This is ridiculous. Last Sunday evening, we tried to have a family dinner outside. You can't even sit on the porch. It's ridiculous. Everybody gonna do that? It's horrible. Something needs to be
You
done.
don't live beside Steve.
Thank
I know
you.
where you're at now.
I also live on Cranberry, and I've had an issue with it too.
Okay. Any other public comment?
I will say it must be that specific farm because I live right up the street from another chicken farm and we do not have much of a fly problem at all.
Okay.
So it must be farm specific.
Very well could be.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with the issue, I'm just saying it's probably specific to the farm.
Is that the farm that you own across the road? Is that the chicken houses that you have an LLC?
I don't own any chicken houses, ma'am. I don't own
You
any
don't?
chicken houses.
You were involved with the one behind my house.
I do not own any chicken houses.
You're not the owner, but you were involved in it.
You had to submit financial interest when you ran,
Yeah.
and I believe that Rolling Road Partners is listed on that.
Yes,
which is
because I
that
read
chicken
them here.
farm.
I read that financial statement here a couple months ago. So now you don't. So you've
I have no
disowned them.
financial interest in any poultry farm
And why was that listed on there?
because I receive rent. They rent my property. They
Wouldn't that
pay me
be
land
financial
rent.
interest?
Okay.
So that makes you part of the business?
Yeah.
No, that does not make
He's
me
saying he
part of the
doesn't own
business.
it.
No, it doesn't.
It does not make me part of the business because they rent my land.
You're right.
I'm gonna take my 5 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Cody Lear, 1847 Cranberry Road. I know there's a bunch of people in here get frustrated with the cameras and the gentleman coming from out of town.
Frederick.
Which, you know, sometimes it does get pedantic, and I think there's childish comments made from out here and up there, both sides equally. But there's a lot of people in here tonight that I have not seen until lately, that have not been here for 15 years. Used to come in here and sit up there when my dad worked here when I was 13 years old, and I've been to just about every meeting since then when I'm able to get here, which is pretty much all of them. None of you guys are going to disagree with that. What you folks back here are seeing now is the escalation of all of this, which is getting a little ridiculous from both sides. And I'm not trying to say against you, Marie, what you're trying to do here, but you know, Gus moving his head and stuff, I mean, come on. We got other things to deal with here. Focus on the stuff that needs to be done. The whole thing that started this with Marie and this whole thing up here was a comment that Mr. King said, and it pertains to fly issue that we're talking about tonight. You're welcome to go back and watch the video and watch what was said that caused all that. And I don't know the exact words. Again, it's out there. You can come in and find it. But as long as, basically, if you don't like it, get out of here. Okay? Lived beside farms my whole life, Steve, Brian. I don't have no problem. I live on Cranberry Road and I don't have no problem. But they have a problem.
I'm not saying
Okay?
I'm not disputing
Okay?
that.
And that board has used its power, its family, and its people for years against my family, against Miss Marie, against Mr. Klein. And if it affected you, and it affected you, and it affected you, you'd be in here doing the same thing. Don't forget that. There's issues in here that need to be taken care of, and they're not going to get taken care of. But she has done a fantastic job with bringing this to light. So much so that the township is going to do a great thing and get cameras in here, and then it can be live. I think that's awesome. I love that idea. You guys want to do that. Then there's no question about what's being said and what isn't. And that's why you guys get so upset by this, because for years it was a few people sitting in here mouthing back and forth, and nobody knew what was going on. Okay? And if you weren't part of the clique, it didn't matter. That side believed that side, and that side believed that side. Now it's available for anybody to go back and watch and check and look at. And that's why it bothers certain people in here so much, because now you can't deny what you say when it's on camera. So when we all want to get upset at Marie for the cameras and the recording policy and all that, if you guys would have done your job and not treated people the way you have for so many years, we wouldn't be sitting here having to act like 12-year-old kids going back and forth. We can handle these issues like the flies, like $200,000 pipes. We could do them, function like a normal government, and be fine. But instead, you're doing what the federal government's saying, disinformation. No, it's not disinformation. If they edit your picture or they edit a stutter, yeah, do I think that that's 100% right? No. But the words you say are still the words that you said. So that's all I got to say. I don't know if I'm going to bother coming in here for these much anymore. I've dealt with it long enough. It gets my blood pressure pumping. And no matter what we say, you guys are going to do what you want to do anyhow. So that was my message to everybody in this room. I had more faith in some of you than I do now, but it is what it is. So that's it.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yes.
I do want to say, for the newcomers in here, I have had to hire a civil rights attorney twice because Jeff King and this secretary defamed me at a public meeting, and the secretary added words to the minutes. I had to hire a civil rights attorney and call in a parliamentarian from Philadelphia. It cost me a lot of money, but my good name means more to me than money.
Excuse me, Marie, what did the parliamentarian find?
Excuse me, I have the floor. You and that parliamentarian and my civil rights attorney had those minutes expunged because they were false and defamatory. Now I had to bring them in a second time because Pat, of course, doesn't know how to do minutes properly, and that's why now the solicitor has to review agendas, minutes, etc., all right to know requests. We pay him, the taxpayers pay him over $2,000 a month. And what did he say to me when I asked him about his best practices, his firm for time entry? He told me it was none of my business. We pay,
Okay, Marie.
all of us pay.
Okay, Marie, I'm going to interrupt you.
No, and I want everybody to know that the person who will, if this thing is not settled amicably, I will be the plaintiff, not the defendant, in a lawsuit. Because I have retained counsel about this.
Correct. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
And what he did was defamation. And you, as the solicitor, allowed it. And that's my final word here.
Yes, sir.
Ryan again, 4707 Oxford Grove.
Yes, sir.
One question I have, do we have any sort of ordinances or stuff for these farms, these chicken farms, as far as the fly control and the pesticide stuff like that? Is there anything in place for that?
Under the Right to Farm Act, the township cannot enact any rules that are stricter than state law. Okay?
But I thought under the state law there was some sort of stuff for pest control.
There are certain requirements. If it's normal farming practices, there's protection. I mean, I'm
just asking.
No, but at the end of the day, you know, if there's something we can investigate the situation and make, you know, recommendations, but we do not have the authority to restrict normal
Because
farming
like
practices.
there's numerous farms here, like we have one in the area that some are producing and some are. I'm not just saying they don't have an issue. I go to properties in that vicinity, and yes, there's a fly issue, but why are some having and some not?
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for flies. You can have decaying fruit, horses, cows. You know, it's if the environment's right.
It wasn't a problem until 2012.
So
I just didn't know if they weren't following state parameters or something like that.
I understand.
That's what my question is.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment about that. I've been living at this property for 39 years.
Okay.
Back in the day, when Harold Grove had that, and they had cattle, they had steers, they had cows. We never had this fly problem until this chicken farm came about. Why? What's the difference?
Management.
There's something wrong with this picture.
Okay.
39 years I lived in that property, but right now it's horrible. And I remember another thing that Mr. Dyson told us. I think the last time I was at a meeting was probably 3 years ago, and I was disgusted about enough, and I said I'd never come back. He told somebody in here had a complaint, if you don't like it, move. Well, I got news for you. I'm not moving.
He thinks it's funny.
Actually,
He thinks everything's funny.
Yeah, they moved.
Okay.
That's sad.
Anyone else? Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to file a complaint about my garbage. The garbage truck is, I don't know what it's going like 5 o'clock in the morning or something before I even get awake. But several times, and I've got the pictures, so if you want me to show it to Gus or however you want me to handle it, you guys are in charge of that.
Did you call the garbage company yourself?
No.
Start with that.
Okay, well, I thought we were supposed to be going to Gus.
No. You're supposed to contact you're paying them as a provider. Call them first. If they don't rectify it, then we will follow up with them. But they need to know if you're not getting satisfaction because you're paying them as a customer, call them.
Well, it's not a service issue. It's they're leaving debris in my driveway.
Okay.
And they're actually backing in my driveway and scraping my driveway.
Okay.
I picked up glass, garbage that is not mine.
Okay.
So
I would call them and just tell them your concerns, and then we can follow up as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't need to file a complaint at the township, or
no? Call them directly, and then I can follow up.
After you call them, if you want to report what happened, it's just the last time when we had issues with them, one of the things they tried to push back on is, well, nobody called us to complain.
Okay,
so
well,
call them
I'll
first.
say we've been handling them complaints. When I was sitting on the board, everybody was coming in and talking to Gus, and Gus was, because you know how it is when you call these people, you don't even get to talk to anybody who even knows anything.
I know that it is a challenge in anything in today trying to get a hold of somebody to talk to. I get that. But yeah, start with that, and we will follow up as well.
And you got a new number for them? The number's in the office back there. It's
Yeah,
not
but
the
the
one that's on
customers,
your bill.
there's a customer service number that we have.
So why would that not be on my bill?
I can't speak to that. I mean,
Well, that's something we ought to check into. We accept their contract to take care of the people in the community. They ought to be able to get a hold of the right person when you make a phone call.
Okay. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I will make a motion for adjournment. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.